Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from AnthonysCustoms, and for this review, we are looking at the Street Fighter V Akuma from Storm Collectibles. Now, I'm going to do my very best beyond this point to not talk about how absolutely terrible this character redesign is. I absolutely hate it. If you guys like it, let me know in the comment section below. I'm just curious. It's okay if we disagree, but I absolutely hate everything about the way they did his hair. I'll just take a quick second to talk about it since I already have you here. If it was just a beard and long hair, fine. But a neck beard and a troll doll top knot just doesn't make any sense. It looks bad. If it was just a normal beard, I'd be so much more on board with it. Anyway, from this point forward, no more talk about the redesign. We're here to talk about the figure. It's accurate to the design, so the figure can be good while the design is not. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about, we're just going to go to the top of the, well, let's do both. The head is about 7¼ inches, the hair is about 8¼ inches, which makes it just about, let's call it 18½ to the top of the head and closer to 21 for the top of the hair. So this guy is big. I'll have some photos at the end, at least one, but real quickly I'll just show you compared to Ryu. Akuma's massive. He's a beast, which is awesome. If it wasn't for that design. Okay. So I did say that this is accurate to the character design, and that's almost true. The one complaint I have as far as accuracy goes, I mean, everything's going to look a little bit different in plastic form, is the coloring. If you look at the gi should be a whole lot more blue, and this is actually their own, promo, their glamour shots. The gi should be a whole lot more blue, especially if you compare it to this or this. It's a whole lot more blue. This is almost like a slate closer to black. And then the hair should be a little bit more red and a lot less orange. This is very vibrant orange. The hair should be a lot darker, although down here it's very bright, but I don't know, it shouldn't, or maybe it should just have more shading. Either way, it stands out a whole lot as being orange rather than red. But unfortunately, otherwise, it is accurate. And it's done pretty well. I mean, the colors are good. The skin's got nice texture to it, nice tone. It looks nice. The gi has a little bit of shading throughout, kind of like a dry brush thing going on. The ropes have really nice rope detail. Much unlike the SHF Akuma, the ropes actually look like ropes, so that's good. The sculpt work for the hair is, I think, as good as they were going to get. I mean, with this crazy design, they had to do something, and I think they achieved that pretty well. It's a very nice, soft material, but not the kind that's like going to crack from the paint or anything. So, yeah, I think they did a good job as best as they could. And the cool thing is, this can be posed if you want it to, but it also comes off, and so let's go ahead and get into the accessories. If you want, you can pull this piece off. The belt comes apart completely, then the whole gi comes off. And you have an alternate one with the kanji on the back with the glowing red, and that is just fantastic. That's awesome. It's so nice that they give you the option to take it on or off. So that's very cool. Or you could just leave the gi off altogether if you really wanted to. It actually makes the figure look pretty good. Unfortunately, the way his gi is, it's baggy right here, mostly for the necklace here, but that's fine, and that's how it's supposed to look. But it kind of just throws off the proportions. It makes him look a little tubby, and if you take the gi off, it does look pretty good. I'll have a photo at the end for you to see that. And the cool thing is the beads are actually beads on a rope. I've been saying that for, what, 3? Who did I? Oh, that was Darth Maul I said that for, but then I also said about the SHF Akuma. These figures cost enough that it's not going to be unreasonable for them to give us beads on a rope, and these guys did, so I really do like that. That's pretty awesome. Back to the other accessories now. We have 3 different faces. We have the neutral face that comes on him in the package, one where he's just kind of showing his teeth a little bit, and then one where he's yelling. We have a few different hands. We have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package, 2 karate chop type of hands, and then 2 different sets of martial arts pose hands. We do have 2 flame effect parts for his arms. You have to take the hands off and then put these on and put the hands back on. But they're done very nicely with the purple to pink transition. Unfortunately, one of mine is a whole lot darker than the other, so that's a little bit of a bummer, but not altogether a huge problem. And then we do have the purple Hadouken. I cannot remember. Is it the I can't remember, guys. It's been so long. I know I should know this, but I can't remember. I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. It's the purple Hadouken. I know it's not called. Anyway, it's done nicely with a nice purple to pink transition, with a display stand for it, with a whole lot of hinges, which are probably not necessary, but you do have that. And then we do have the now standard Street Fighter V display stand. So pretty good batch of accessories for this guy. He's a big figure, lots of accessories. You're definitely getting your money's worth. One thing I want to note, the QC seems a little bit better on this guy. It's a little bit cleaned up. The ball pegs for the wrists, they are a whole lot tighter on this guy. They're very stiff, which means they're not going to pull out very easily, and you can swap the hands with no problem. So I like that a whole bunch, and I haven't noticed any other QC issues. So I think as any other new company has to, you know, these guys are going through a little bit of that growth period, and they're starting to work out a few kinks here and there, and the figures are only going to benefit for it. So I'm very happy to see that, and I can't wait to see them do a more classic looking Akuma. I'm very excited for that. Okay, so now as far as the, let me first show you how you interchange the head. You just pull the whole face off, and you have to be careful you don't pull off the troll top knot, because you can do that. I mean, that'll just pop off, but you don't want to break this. So be extra careful when you do that. It's a little tricky to do it, but the hair is so squishy, you can kind of just get in there and grab it. Grab it from the chin. It's a pain in the butt, but it looks funny, so I'm going to do it. Okay, there you go. There's that. You can leave them like that, and it looks like maybe it's just me. When I first pulled that off, I thought that looked like eyes and a mouth, and it made me chuckle. I guess it could just be me. But anyway, the face pegs through this. That's what I wanted to show you, really. The face pegs through here, so that's a separate piece. You can see a little bit of the shading on there. But goodness, couldn't they have just not? Okay, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're not going to talk about the redesign. Okay, so the head's on a couple of ball pegs. It moves, or the neck and head. You can see in there the neck is all one piece. Is it like reuse? The neck is soft. It kind of pegs in like reuse, but because of the hair, you can't move it as much. But you get decent enough range considering how much hair there is. So I guess that's okay. God, I hate that design. It's so bad. Okay, back to the shoulders. We have our big ball peg that connects the arm to the torso. It moves around nicely in there. And then you just have the little cap piece that hides that. The gi is nice and soft. You can't raise the shoulders very far though, unfortunately, because you see how you have this cut out right here for the joint to work. At the top of the shoulder, there's a whole lot more shoulder plastic going that way so that it just bumps into the articulation. You can't raise the arm anymore. So that's definitely a problem. I would have much preferred to have a bigger gap. You can kind of see. If you had a bigger gap at that little cutout in there, then you'd have better range. So I think that would definitely, I'd rather sacrifice the aesthetic for the range, but it's not a huge deal if you're one of those people that likes the aesthetics, so then that's better for you. Bicep swivel's fine. Double jointed elbow only gives you 90 degrees, which he's bulky, so I'll give him a little bit of slack there, but I think a little bit of better range would have been better. You already saw the wrist. It's our ball-pegged ball hinges with these floating pieces, so that's pretty good. The torso, I can only assume functions with at least a single ball peg here and a single ball peg at the bottom. Could be a double inside there. I haven't taken it apart to check, but you get pretty good range out of him. You can lean him pretty far back. Like, that's really good for somebody this bulky. And going forwards, not so much of a problem, but the necklace kind of gets to be in the way, and the shirt. So you're going to have to kind of play around with it. But you can get pretty good range out of this guy, even though he's pretty bulky. For the hips, you can bring the legs out on these big ball pegs almost to full-on splits. So that's really good. And then, of course, you can see the ball pegs in there. So you can bring the legs forward, too. It's very stiff. Be careful. I know I said the QC was better, but anytime you have a stiff joint, you want to not just crank on it. It feels like I could go a little bit farther, but maybe not. You have at least that much range going forward. And going back is about the same. So I guess that's okay. It's not too bad. You do have a thigh swivel in there. Let's see if it's going to let me use it. Yeah, it's a pretty stiff thigh swivel, but it does work. Actually, that's just it rotating around on the ball peg. There is another thigh swivel in there, which is apparently too stiff to rotate. Double jointed knees. Oh, good. They feel so much better than Ryu's and Ken's. Nice. Nice. That's good. I hadn't messed with the knees yet. So you don't get the best range out of these guys, unfortunately, but it does not feel like the knees are going to break at all. That's pretty good. You have a rotation at the shin where it meets the pants, so that's pretty good. Ball peg where the ankle hinge meets the foot. And then, of course, you do have the hinge, which gives you really good range going forward. Not as good going back, but it's probably good enough. And then you can lean the foot on the ball peg for an ankle rocker, or you can do this and rotate the ankle around and get yourself an even bigger rocker. So you can do that. That's pretty okay. And then you have a toe hinge, which is not a bad toe hinge at all. So that's That's okay. The sandals are actually separate pieces that are actually put on like real sandals. So the issue of the sandal being too far forward on the foot, it's not a huge deal, but if you really, really wanted to, you could take the sandal off, heat it up so you can spread the toes apart. You could take a little material away from the toe crack, and then you could slide the sandals back if you really wanted to. But it's kind of cool that they are actual functional sandals. So yeah, guys, it's a really solid figure. If you can get past this particular version of Akuma, then this is a figure you want to get. It's not a bad figure by any means. It's just that darn design. But yeah, the shoulders are really the only issue, so I definitely have to recommend it. It's a really solid figure. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. And in the meantime, keep collecting.